In previous videos, we looked at Benjamin Moore White Dove and why it's so awesome, everything to do with its undertones, depth, colors it looks good with, its best white partners, you name it, we covered it. Now in this video, we are going to compare similar colors because sometimes the white you're going for isn't the white you end up choosing because your home wants more warmth, less warmth. So comparing similar shades is super important. When I compare whites, I always use my Samplize peel and stick. I don't do sample pots. It's messy, it's expensive, it's a pain in the butt. I go with Samplize. They deliver to my front door. No brainer. Now, we're going to do some comparisons here. Don't judge these too much based on how they compare with each other on this board. One white's undertones can totally overexpose another white's undertones. So if there's one here that intrigues you, like ignore how these two play or these two play. See how they look with White Dove. Lean into that and grab the ones that catch your eye because you will want 4 or 5 good whites to compare. Now we're going to start with Benjamin Moore Cloud White. So when we compare the two, you can see how Cloud White is a little bit brighter, a little bit fresher, and even a little bit more yellow. A lot of my clients who have granite from the early 2000s, they love Cloud White, they love its subtle warmth. White Dove does work a lot of the time too. The only one that's a bit touchy, I find, is like Sherwin Williams Pure White, my other favorite white. It's hit and miss with some of the granites. Sherwin Williams Greek Villa. Now, White Dove looks downright pink in comparison to that. It's not pink. It's just that Greek Villa has a pretty decent dose of yellow in it. It's not my favorite white, by the way. Sherwin Williams Pure White. I'm always comparing Pure White and White Dove. I recommend you do as well. Here we go. Pure White, White Dove. Funny enough, they have very similar LRVs. Pure White sits at 84 and White Dove's just that little bit darker, but they're both soft whites, not bright whites. It's just that White Dove has a little bit more creamy, kind of earthy, grounded warmth to it. Benjamin Moore Chantilly Lace. It's like comparing apples to oranges. So in the earlier video where we talked about the best whites to partner with White Dove, this is a great example of how one white can overexpose undertones in another. So Chantilly Lace shows us how soft, how warm White Dove is. And let's say you have White Dove walls and you do Chantilly Lace cabinets and trim. Well, all of a sudden your White Dove walls don't look so white. They look more creamy or off-white. If that's the look you want, you can fill your little white patent leather boots, but you want to be careful because not everyone's going for that look. Benjamin Moore Swiss Coffee. Okay, seriously. Swiss Coffee and White Dove are like kissing cousins. Quite similar. But the thing is, Swiss Coffee became super popular thanks to Studio McGee. I get it. It's gorgeous. Looks good. They did tinker with it. I believe they lightened it by 25%, which can adjust the undertones a bit. In my 10,000 consults, I've probably recommended Swiss Coffee twice. And that's because it was already in play in the home, or the home maybe had like some yellow-green finishes. And I say that because of the two, Swiss Coffee is a little bit more likely to grab a touch of green. Now, I personally don't want a touch of green in my white. I mean, sometimes you can't avoid it when the grass is reflecting in or your light's coming through some trees, but between the two, you do you. White Dove for me. Sherwin Williams Snowbound shows us how beautiful, creamy, soft, warm White Dove is. These two would never be in the running for the same project. They're different types of whites. What else do we got? Sherwin Williams Cheviot, a new fave of mine. I know the samples are hard to get. You can literally only get them with Samplize. You can't go buy a quart. You can't buy a sample pot at Sherwin Williams. It's a pain in the rear, but at least you can see it like this. They actually don't look bad together. I'll give you that. Cheviot's just a brighter, higher LRV. What do we got here? Benjamin Moore, Oxford White. So comparing those two, Oxford White comes up, if you ask me, just a little bit dingier. Of the two, it's more likely to look like a real white, whereas White Dove has a little bit more creamy softness to it. Great comparable though. Sherwin Williams Alabaster, great comparable. I would definitely sample these two in your home if you're looking for a soft, warm white. They're just coming at their warmth in different ways. Of the two, I usually favor White Dove, but I've had clients use Alabaster like on their walls, cabinets, trim, ceiling, and it's stunning. So check it out. See which white your finishes respond best to. And lastly, Sherwin Williams White Snow. Some of these are new. They're from Sherwin Williams Designer Collection. I don't have videos on all of them, but I definitely have info on my blog, so you can check them out. Again, that just shows us how soft, how warm White Dove really is. So there you have it. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing.